Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Schlage number 35-009 C135 key blank. This is the, I guess, latest evolution of Schlage's unprotected standard keyways, allowing them to continue to, I would think, protect their brand and the integrity of the caliber of the lock by going with a key blank. That's not, something that you can get cut at the local cobbler. So, giving you the ability to have some better control over where keys are being cut, I would imagine. The 35009 is the part number of this key blank, and that specifically means that it is a 6-pin blank that is going to be embossed on one side and blank on the other. And I'm kind of stammering as I pull it up. Yeah, okay, so this is the standard C family. That'll have the standard face. It will have the blank back side. The reason it's plain back here, not plain, it's not plain, and it's just not embossed with the logo is what I'm trying to say. That's a great area for stamping. Good wide head on the bow of the key that will allow you to get a lot of stamping or engraving onto the head of that blank. This is going to be inherently a 6-pin blank. This is their conventional Everest, non-protected, non-restricted system. This is a system that will certainly be something that you could use to replace your thinking of their conventional obverse keyways, your C, your E, your CE, your EF, your F, your FG, your G, that classic series of pin tumbler keyways that have been around for several decades, the ubiquitous Schlage C keyway. This is going to be their C135 key blank. This C135 is part of the multiplex structure. There are 2 links below this video, so we're not getting too far in the woods. There's a key blanks quick reference guide that's going to allow you to see the 35-009, that will allow you to see the 35-015 should you want it plain on both sides. The reason you might do that is you take away the very first piece of information that someone would have in terms of, okay, whose key blank am I looking for? If you take the name off of there, maybe the head of the key is now not so easy to identify. And the plain both sides, is used for that purpose. I know what the bow of that key looks like, and it certainly is part of the family of the classic bows, but it's not the same. It's substantially larger. So you might want it plain on both sides. You can also find the control keys that are there for if you're doing an interchangeable core system. Okay, so be mindful of that. There'll be marked or stamped control on there. Now, there's a second document called Cut Sheet. That's a neat one to look at because it's going to show you what the C135 looks like in the sense of what the broaching of the cylinder plug looks like and how it fits into the greater overall structure of this multiplex system. So first of all, the keyways and key sections in this family are named C, followed by 3 digits. C was chosen because it's C. Who has the C keyway? Everybody knows it's Schlage. So that's just for marketing purposes. There are 10 keyways. One of them is a simplex. We're going to talk about that. Cylinders with C family keyways are 6-pin and cannot be interkeyed with any 5 or 7-pin products. Primus high security cylinders are available in those same keyways. The side bit millings on Primus make them restricted. So side bit milling, what is happening on the Schlage Everest is you have 2 independent shear lines that need to two independent sets of pins that need to come to a shear line in order for the cylinder to work. There are these things called finger pins that are in the edge of the cylinder and are a bit dastardly if you take one of these apart and you've never seen finger pins before because they go everywhere. But you can put them right back together. It's not a bit problem. Well, these pins will reside in the side of the cylinder, and the little fingers will ride on the side bit milling. And the heights, or the depths, I should say, of those side bit cuts will bring the finger pins to shear. And then, of course, you're cutting up in the traditional area of the blade of the key blank will bring the pin tumblers to shear line, meaning flush and even. Flush and even. Will allow the key to rotate properly. That side bit milling certainly makes the Everest not compatible by sticking in other products into the cylinder. It's not going to work. A 5-pin won't work because your side bit milling is going to be a 6-pin based system. 7-pin won't work because it simply won't go in far enough, and they don't even make these in 7-pin. Primus is a restricted variant of this sort of side bit milling, which was brought into the marketplace, I think, in 1989. It may have been patented. I forget the gentleman's name who patented it. And I think it may have been introduced in the very late 1980s. I first saw it in probably about 1991 or so. I don't recall the exact date. But the concept of the Primus was that side bit milling. And Schlage's not the only company to use side bit millings. Many other people do, but other people use side bit very differently, in the sense that high security systems will use side pins in relationship to a side bar. There will be a side bar like Medico's sidebar system, sidebar, which was invented by Briggs and Stratton in 1935. Need to work in concert with the pins, so there's a sidebar and then the pins. This doesn't have any sidebar. It's just got pins with their little fingers that need to be brought to shear based on the cuts. Anyway, the Primus stuff, similar concept, restricted, however. Key control, C-family keyways are sold and are available to the public, although you're probably not going to find them in your home centers. Your contract hardware distributors, your locksmiths will be able to support this system for you. Now, to establish a new key system, the C145 in that section is the standard. If you don't specify, that's what you're going to get, a C145. No problem, C145, C135. Just a different broaching in the cylinder plug, which means the milling in the side of the key is going to be different. The wards that are on the inside of the cylinder plug and how they jut into the keyway area, making the keyway paracentric, are simply different. There are different shapes, the dimensional properties are different, which means a C135 blank won't go into C145 cylinder and vice versa. Speaking of that, let's study the multiplex structure. You can see that you have 10 keyways on the very bottom. C135 is the one we're talking about now. You can see that on top of the C135 sits a C150. There's an arrow from the 150 to the 145, to the 135, and to the 125. The C150 is a multi-section key blank. It's not a cylinder, it's a blank. Cylinders only exist on that bottom row. The point is I can take that C150 key blank and run it into any of those three cylinders, the 145, the 135, and the 125. There would be lots of reasons why there'd be a couple of really solid reasons why you would want that. Key control, because it will permit you to prohibit. Let's say, just for simplicity's sake, you had a 3-story building. The 145 was the first floor, the 135 was the second floor, and the 125 was the third floor. Architect, law firm, marketing firm, sales firm, whatever. Their key blanks physically will not enter each cylinder. The first floor can't go to 2, and so forth. However, the owner of the building can walk around with a C150. His key blank will pass all 3 of those broachings. As you take that concept and expand it through the rest of your mental image of this multiplex system, you can see how it continues to build on and on. The simplex that you see there, and it's really the C345 would be the one that I would call the simplex. You would use that concept of a key that does not share the ability to run in different other keyways, when you might have an application like a hospital where, just for simplicity's sake, you had 3 different keyways, but the narcotics locker physically needs to be its own key. Period. End of sentence. No one's to have access to that except that all section key blank, the C000, which may be only the absolute top hierarchy of management might have access to that. Or you'll have a C345 key blank alone that nothing else can pass, none of those other keyways, because only certain people can have access to the narcotics room in the hospital floor. So we're going to prevent, not only through the bitting of the key from other keys working in it the way it's pinned, but the physical key blanks themselves will not pass that simplex keyway. And you can take that logic and expand it on in your own imagination. So key control is number 1. Number 2, if you get into a system where you need tens of thousands of key changes, there's only so many key changes you're going to get out of a 6-pin cylinder. Theoretically, if Schlage is a 2-step system, and there are 10 cuts, and you go every 2 steps, that would be 5 available biddings. And if you have 6 chambers, your theoretical quantity of changes is 6 to the 5th power. Whatever number that is, that's the number. Then you take out of that theoretical list those numbers that cannot work for various reasons. But what if you had, whatever that math worked out to, let's just say 7,000. What if you had a job that required 20,000 changes? Well, you might say to yourself, that's impossible. Well, a Big Ten university is going to have a lot more than 20,000 doors. And it just will, is the answer. So the point is, you can take a multiplex system and take your bidding list, your physical numbers for a C145, photocopy that, make it a C135. All the same biddings are the same. All the biddings are the same on both keyways, but those keys cannot interchange at all because the keyways are physically different. So why this gentleman, gentleman, is ordering a C135? Hard to say. He may just have wanted to order locks that were not the common C145 that you would get unless you specified. So that's a neat little trick. I personally have a structure. I have a property where there are 6 locks. They're interchangeable core. I have 6 cylinders that are C234. I have 6 other cylinders that are C235. I walk around with a C230 and a control key, and I can immediately swap out the C234s, dump in the C235 interchangeable core keyways. That old C234, not only will it not work, but it won't even enter. So immediately available for you to be able to handle scenarios like that as well. If you're going to be doing some locksmithing, you're going to require an upgrade to your Pro Lock Blue Punch, to the jaw set that will cut these blanks. You can also buy the parts that you need to pin them. The finger pins and the finger pin springs are there as well. So we've talked at length about this Everest non-protected keyway. It's a great little system from Schlage. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Schlage products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Schlage is a company that I'm quite partial to, and it's certainly because I'm very familiar with a lot of their product line. But I am familiar with it in the sense that I appreciate it in terms of a quality product and a quality group of people that are running that company. Any questions on the Schlage 35-009 in a C135 keyway or any other Schlage product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.